says here we should work in teams. I tend to think of myself as a one-man wolf pack.
You are about to enter Information Overload, a worldwide transmission with Herp Herp Hooray's featured Breeder of the Week. Here's your host, Jason Rossi.
Welcome back to Herp Herp Hooray, a weekly worldwide transmission. I'm your host, Jason Rossi. We are simulcasting on RossiReptiles.com, Buzzsprout, and don't forget to subscribe and download us on iTunes. This week's featured Breeder of the Week brought us one of the baddest morphs out there, the Motley Boa Project. He has another game changer, an all-white Lucy boa constrictor. We're here to talk about the Princess Diamond Project. I'm very pleased to announce Herp Herp Hooray's very special guest, Jeremy Stone from Jeremy Stone Reptiles, also boaconstrictor.com. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be on.
Awesome. So why don't you give our listeners a little background on the Princess Diamond Project?
You want to go right for the guns, huh? First, let's just talk boas quickly, and then I'll go right into projects, because the Motley is what helped me with the Diamond. I mean, it's helped me progress through everything, and you have to pick projects right, and that Motley I credit, it really helped build my business. It was one of the biggest game changers for me, and helped me realize I could do this as a business and do it long term and build it up, and that's really what started. It was the Motley Boa, and that was back in 1997, and I purchased that from Ron St. Pierre for a lot of money back then, and it changed a lot of the boa morphs. It's cool to see, and I was just talking to my wife about it. In Facebook, you'll go on and you'll see Motley Boas in every single part of the world, whether it be a Motley hypo or a Motley jungle or something like that, and to know it all kind of started back right where you were, and it's all the grandbabies out there. It's a pretty cool feeling.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little about the Diamond Project?
The Diamond Project is my favorite boa project. It really is. It's a project I'm protective of the project. I really like it. It's probably one of my favorites. It's my favorite boa I've ever seen. And then just to own it has been cool. To work with it and get babies from them, and then do the whole project I feel lucky.
What is the genetics on that? Is it recessive?
It is recessive, and I'll go into it. It's too tough to say right now if you can see phenotypes, because the babies are so pretty, so it throws off pastel babies, and there's all sorts of different markers in them. And next year will be the first year I'm able to breed one of his daughters, and so that's when I'll know I'll get white babies. But right now I know that leucistic gene is recessive. His babies carry the gene, and they throw off just amazing colors and patterns to just existing morphs. So it's pretty cool. People think, why put codominance in a snake that's going to make it all white? Well, I don't know exactly how the end white will work, if you'll see other colors or patterns on it, because I've seen, you can see certain scales and pattern, little color on all different white snakes. I've worked with a lot of different white snakes and ball pythons too, and I kind of think it's very similar to the fire, but until I breed the babies, some of his babies to normals, will I find out if you can see it in a phenotypic way.
So you retired the project, the founding Princess Diamond.
Yeah, I did. I've been really guarded on the project. I know it's rare. It's a game changer. I know that everybody's going to want white snakes when the price comes down, and I mean I would, and a lot of people will. I think I was telling you earlier, our demand for snow boas, moon glow boas, is huge. I can't produce enough, and eventually white snakes with black eyes, and makes insane-looking morphs much easier, stronger genetically. I think it'll do well.
Yeah, because as we discussed before, we were talking about the lifespan of breeding boas. That's amazing.
With the Diamond Project, I took a different route. Of course, it took me a while to raise him. I didn't breed him until he was 3. I tried. He didn't breed when he was younger. I didn't breed him at 18 months. And I finally got some babies, one litter. And then I had one of, the most worst things that could ever happen to you. I had 2 litters, and I had a jungle female that was gravid that year. And right on her due date, she passed away. There were 17 dead babies in there, and that was like a huge crush to me. It would have been a big jump start. But I was able to breed him last year to 2 females and this year to 2 females, and that's enough genetic bloodline for that project for him. So I don't need to breed him back to any of his daughters or to anything else, because when I breed the babies, I'll have white ones, and I'm trying to get as much genetic diversity as I can outcrossing. so I think that'll be a much better way to take it, so I can have strong bloodlines, because the bloodline is extremely strong. The animals are that the leucistic male produces, they're just really hardy babies. Good bloodline.
So would you say that it's the same in the wild, their lifespan, as it is as in captivity?
No, it's different in the wild than it is in the wild. They're not going to breed as consistently as because we put them through a process. If you're talking wild boas as to captive, it's quite different. And the season's similar. They'll come in babies in a certain season, but the females out in the wild aren't going to be bred consistently. It's all more according to the food that they have and the males that they have access to. And so when we breed in captivity, we're putting our animals through more of a stress cycle than we can. And it's kind of the negative of the business, is I have to breed my animals to make a living. But in doing so, I'm also putting, their lifespan lower than probably what they would be if they were just a solid pet. And so when you're breeding, it's just a different ballgame, because you can kind of control the stress amount that you put on your animals. And breeding boas, everybody knows that the males breed a very long period of time. They'll copulate for months, and that's a lot of stress. So with your males, males can breed young at 18 months, but if you do that, you're going to keep your male smaller. He's not going to get up to a big, huge size, because you put a lot of emphasis on breeding him, and that shortens his lifespan. He's not going to maintain max growth because he's bred. And the same thing with the female. You're giving your animal in captivity food selection more than it has in the wild, or more consistent, and so you're also putting stress on males when you're breeding them for a long period of time. In the wild, they might be crawling off those females in search of others, getting breaks, things like that. So the stress in captivity is definitely going to shorten their lifespan if you breed the animal. If you keep the animal as a pet, you can keep a boa for many years, and they're very healthy animals. But when you do breed the animals, you are shortening their lifespan. It's the same with dogs, cats, a lot of others, especially the live-bearing snakes. It seems a little bit harder on them.
Yeah, I was watching your video earlier today, and that motley het Princess Diamond has that crazy striping going on. Is that what you're talking about, like the? Yeah,
they're gorgeous, and they have these really pastel tails. They change colors too. I've been able to watch them grow up, and it's a boa that gets better and better as it grows, which is really cool. And you keep adult snakes, so you want to have good-looking adults, and I love them. It's just a fantastic morph to work with. So it's made the motleys look better. It's made the jungles look better. It's made the hypos look better. And I put it in morphs just to get diversity of bloodlines. I wanted it in the motley because I think the motley is one of the strongest bloodlines out there. And so having the combination of the two is, I know they're really hardy, strong animals.
So you also have a video series coming out on your breeding boas. Why don't you tell our
I do.
From these videos?
I enjoy doing the videos. I do all the editing and put them up on YouTube. I used to do a lot more than I do. But I've collected a lot of footage throughout the years, and I wanted to do a breeding and keeping video. And we'll have that available probably October 15th. I thought by October 1st, but it's going to look like October 15th. And it's a collection of years, and it's kind of an all keeping and breeding boas question and answer, similar to what we're doing, just a lot more detail. And I'll give tricks of the trade, a lot more than I would talk about, just publicly.
Awesome. That VPIT positive motley has some insane coloring going on. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that project?
One of the best snakes, outside of all the morphs we've talked about, the Princess Diamond project and the motley, but I really am not into mass production of boas. I don't produce a lot, and my goal is not to, of a certain amount. I like to work with certain different things and have a lot of variety for my customers. And so that VPI has been one of my favorites. It's just a great animal to work with. And putting the motley in the VPI made it an amazing looking snake. And then the jungle motley VPI is awesome. And I've also made the jungle motley VPI, and that's considered, a lot of my customers just love that animal. It's a gorgeous animal. They have different colors.